Hi, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Beautifully Alpha. I'm Dannie Phan, and along with my co host Quang Nguyen, we'll be exploring the areas of manufacturing. Our guest today is Justice Lay, who's actually my cousin. She's really cool, smart, funny, talented, beautiful, everything you want in a guest, right? She's going to be sharing her career journey going from working in the film industry as an intern and then designing in fashion all the way to her current role as a product designer. Or should I say inventor? It's really cool. She actually has some patents out and she's won awards like the Edison Award for innovative work. So I hope you enjoy this conversation and yeah, let's just dive right in.
Beautifully Alpha. Beautifully Alpha.
I'm gonna be sweating, so I don't want to let me know if it gets smelly.
He gets very insecure. I go to the gym
with him,
and he's like,
it's
sorry if I smell. I'm
okay.
like, we're at the gym. It
You know,
wouldn't
it's-
matter.
You know, it's really weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but like, I was in my warehouse, so the container arrives. Sorry, I don't know where we started yet, but the container arrives, and then we were unable to get helper to unload the containers. And so I was like, all right, let's just go do it. Like I went out there and started like helping Holland unload the container, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was like 100-degree inside the warehouse, and out in San Dimas, it's extremely hot too. And then I was like sweating. I was baking inside. I was really doing like CrossFit right now. I was like scratching and stuff. And then he came over and he's like, and I was like, did you just take a swift out of me?
Not even trying to hide it.
I know. And he's all like, why you don't stink? And I was like, I'm like, what? He's like, but instead you like, why do you smell sweet? And I was like, why do you just smell me? That's what I want to know. And because he was like, he smelled this like sweet aroma, and he's trying to figure where it's coming from. And he came by and he took a swim. He said, it's from you. And I was like, what are you talking about? I stink right now. He's like, no, you don't stink.
There was a girl that I worked with, and I swear, when she sweats, she smelled like cookies.
What is it? One of those things where you are what you eat, or is it very?
She also says that she loves cookies and baking. She also likes to bake, so
It
just
could be. It
continues
could
to
be
smell
that.
like
What is it?
pastry.
Or she's so healthy that she got amazing pheromones.
Maybe both. Maybe a little bit both.
Came out of the pores, all the pores and everything.
My friend was telling me about a woman at his work where every time she eats, she sweats. So they,
What?
Yeah, like meat sweats. I get meat sweats.
So they all just call her like Sweaty Betty, and she knows it.
Oh, and she knows it. That's
knows
so
it.
sad.
She gets mad when like
That's
people
really
watch her
sad.
eat. She knows exactly what's going on.
That's really sad. She should not know that. So, all right, hi.
Welcome. We're here today.
Our guest today is Christine,
Or
aka
Justice, or
AKA Justice.
Yeah.
or AKA Justice. If
Yes.
you ever meet her in a public setting, like the club.
Which is, by the way, that's like decades ago. I can't remember the last time I stepped inside a club.
that's a lie. You probably do remember when you stepped last step. I bet you it was recent.
You know, if you don't remember, you probably had fun. You probably had a great time.
I'm trying to think back.
I was in
Like,
Vegas a couple weeks ago, and I don't remember either, so it's
You
okay.
didn't remember last week. That was a house party. You don't even remember. Oh, you fell
Oh
asleep. You fell
yeah,
asleep.
yeah. I knocked out pretty early, around 8 p.m.
So you start early. You
I
went
started
out
early. We heard it was gonna start at 2.
Uh-huh.
I like, I let it warm up. I got there at 4. I was like the third person there, and I got started pretty early.
Yeah.
And then I guess it went to like 2 a.m. Like another 6 hours went
Wow.
after I knocked out.
Yep. I even left, got kaju tofu, and came back, and it's still going.
Oh my goodness. The
Yeah.
excitement of being young.
You're young. You actually live a very eventful. Anyways, so we're here to talk about you.
Oh.
What you've been up to. So a lot of our listeners probably don't know who you are, what you do. I like to joke to people. Well, it's the truth. I tell people that my cousin's an inventor, and she's awesome and amazing, and she's beautiful, and everybody should follow her and all of her product. But I'll let you do your self. Like, when you introduce yourself, what do you usually say? Because I feel like that's a little ballsy.
It is actually. Honestly, it is, because I would go out and, just a casual night, and some people just come straight up to you and say, so what do you do for a living? And I was like, do you want to see my bank account? Like, that's basically
Oh,
what
okay.
the question entailed to. It's like, what is your status kind of thing.
That's
right?
true. Yep.
Yeah.
And so I usually just kind of simply say like, I was very vague. I just simply say like, oh, I just design stuff. I know, like.
Like what websites?
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And usually the response is like, cool.
Because it's so broad too.
Yeah, exactly. And I prefer not to go into too much in depth and details about it because it's just a lot of layers, to be honest. So I just kind of like, yeah, I just design stuff and that's it. That's, and something they asked was like, oh, what type of stuff in mind? And I was like, oh, like travel products, beauty products, pet toys.
Pet toys.
Yeah, and they're like, you make pet toys? I have a dog, and that's usually how the
What people open up.
conversations start going up and everything. Yeah. So I design products.
Oh, design products.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the name of your company?
So After Jen is the company that I partner up with, and it was an idea, like I have a vision of an idea to do something in the pet industries, and then After Jen was a good fit for the product that I had in mind. And so, but the companies that I partner with After Jen, but my physical product itself, which is a separate entity of a company, is called Douyin World, and this is particularly all mainly focused on cat toys right now. It was a combination of dogs and cats, and then I came to realize there's too many dog toys on the market that I need to like
Never
separate
enough
myself
cat
away from it.
toys.
Yeah.
How do you make like a new product? Like, let's say there's so many stuff out there. You think that everything is already out there. Like how do you think differently from everybody else?
You actually be surprised. You'll be surprised that
Okay.
there's still so many possibility, and I always love giving this type of challenge to a lot of individuals because they do ask me that question all the time. Like, how do you come up with an idea, right? And I turn to them as like, what you had to first do is like, it's not so much you sit there and try to think of an idea, but more so it's like you observe your surrounding of what is missing, and you pay attention to like your friends or your family members or your wives or your husband. What do they complain a lot about? Sometimes they'll pick up something that's like, oh, this thing is so heavy. Why does it won't have another way to carry this thing? And they won't go beyond thinking that, but you can. You listen to their pain.
Okay.
You listen to their frustrations, or sometimes you just listen to like what they wish for, and you take that and you kind of soak that in a little bit, and you kind of able to kind of figure out how can you make it better, or how can you make it different, or you can create something completely brand new out of that.
So, do you have a dog or cat? Because like, 'cause that would be the first question. You're talking about pet toys, right?
Well,
I don't know.
I do.
Okay.
I had a little Yorkie of 14 years. He was my inspiration for a very, very long time. And after him, I became a cat lady. Technically not yet. Not yet.
They just
Catwoman.
come to you.
Catwoman versus cat lady.
They come to me. I don't go out and like pick them up or anything. They just come to me. And at one point, I had lots of cats.
Oh, what's a lot?
About 9.
Okay, that's
At
not too
one
bad.
point.
That's a lot.
Under double digits. I had a teacher that had like 8, I think.
Well, the thing is that I didn't know about this, that once you hit number 6 or number 7, you automatically become a cat lady.
I thought it's just 2. I thought after 2 you're a cat lady.
No, yes, it's like 6 or 7. I need to look into that again, but it's interesting.
Write in the comments below. What do you think?
Let us know.
Is it 6? It's double digits.
People just say just 1.
Just 1.
You're about a cat.
One
like,
is more than enough.
but no, these cats they just shows up into my backyard, and usually it's a mama cat who's like pregnant, and decide to have little litters and kittens into my backyard, and of course I have to like take care of them and all stuff, because you can't just take them to a pound right away, or you can't just take them to some foster place right away kind of thing, because they won't take that responsibility. They want you to be able to like house them and take care of them first and everything. And so I will take care of this little kitten to the right age, and then I will find them like a home, and then each of them will just find his own home and everything, and then make sure the mom is spayed or neutered or something. Make sure they'll all be spayed and neutered before you release them into the wild.
Or find them a home.
Yeah, exactly. But no, technically, I actually have only 2 cats, and they're outdoor cats. Yeah.
Which are the best, because you don't have to do like the scooping of the poo.
They just poo wherever.
Yeah, they poo whatever.
So
They poo outside of your property.
oh,
Because like yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
'cause
they
nat-
don't
yeah.
poop in your property.
Because
It's not
naturally, if you, like for kitty litter, they'll go do their business and they cover it with dirt. That's why it's actually like intuitive for them to like go
hide
and
their
make
scent and
sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not like dogs where like let's say they poo in your neighbor's yard, you have to go pick it up. So do you have to pick it up?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
You can't even find it. Honestly, I don't even know where
Yeah,
it is.
Cats can.
I don't even know where it
okay.
is.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, my garden is beautiful. That's all I'm gonna say. My garden is beautiful. So.
Going back on like creating products and things, and it takes more, I think, than just creating the design. I imagine you mentioned earlier about going to the containers, doing like a lot of the leg work and heavy lifting, but there's also the stuff in between, like finding out the materials, finding out manufacturers. Are you involved in that process as well?
Oh yes. And as a designer, as a product designer, it's so important that you're in it from the beginning all the way to the end. Like one of the key things I always tell a lot of people is like, if you don't know it, Google it right away.
Yeah.
Or find somebody who has the information for you and everything, but never just hand it off to somebody else and have that person figure it out or fix it or whatever it is, because at the end of it is that this is still your project. This is your baby. So you need to know how the transition that came from a piece of paper into a physical product into your hand, but you also had to understand all the steps in between it, and it's a work in process. It's definitely not something that's going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
I was very blessed with an opportunity to meet a lot of talents throughout my years, and they were able to guide me and educate me and pretty much direct me to the right place to go to get all my resource and everything, and which is where today I know exactly what to do. The moment I have an idea, I know exactly what to do. It wasn't easy back then. I'll tell you that.
But how did you get into that role? Because like the origin story of your name is that you're going to go into law.
Oh, that's what it came from. I thought it was like some vigilante work where you're like
By day, product designer. By night.
No. Oh my God. Do you have champagne for this?
you can give a brief backstory if you want.
Oh man. I knew from a very young age like I wanted to do something very creative. I just didn't know what it was yet. Artistically, I know how to draw before Photoshop even exists at that time. It's all pencil sketch and stuff. And at some point I wanted to go into a fashion design fields and everything. And my parents, my mom especially, say, don't even bother because it's such a cutthroat industry. And she was right. She was definitely right. And I'm so glad I, listened to her. And she, instead, both of them said 4-year college. So Santa Barbara, that's the school we all went to.
Ole.
All 3 of us. So.
You partied pretty hard, huh?
She still does.
No comment.
Pleading the fifth.
Not saying anything. Stay in school. It's very important.
Yeah.
Get your full education.
You can still get your full education and party. Just saying.
But study more. Study more. It wasn't until I came out, finished Santa Barbara, and then my first real job was working at Paramount Studio.
What'd you do there?
Getting coffee and make photocopies.
Oh.
Yeah, printing papers, delivering papers, getting coffee. I was one of those runner. That's pretty
Meeting
much what
famous people.
Not at all.
Really?
Shockingly, not towards to the end.
Okay.
It wasn't to the end, and so how this whole thing came out, I was like, I was surrounded by creative people. I was like, oh, maybe this is something creative that I want to do. And then there was costume designs, department is like, oh my God, fashion. But my parents, again, they say no to that. But that's when my little Jojo, 14-year-old Jojo at that time, he was only
14-year-old Joe, your son? Or?
No, my dog.
Oh, your dog?
My dog.
Okay.
Yeah, he's only a few months old. I believe he's 4 or 5 months at that time, and he wasn't even mine. He was my grandmother. Yeah, my grandma was in Vietnam And then they just asked me, I was like, hey, can you just watch him? And I was like, yeah, sure. I just
Little
watch
did you
him.
know, you adopted a dog.
Yeah. And so this little guy, he turns out that he's not the healthiest dog. The vet.
Bulldog?
No, it's a little Yorkie.
Yorkie. Oh yeah,
Tiny,
Yorkie.
tiny little Yorkie. Yeah. And the vet says like, I just have to keep him warm at all time because he's still young, so he's still trying to build his immune system and everything. And so he said like, at night his body heats, so he had to sleep with you. And I was like, I never have a dog slept in my bed before, but okay, you're cute, you're an exception. I went ahead and allowed that. But during the day it was a question mark. It was like, how do I keep him warm during the day? Southern California is like 100 degrees and you still had to keep him warm. That doesn't even make sense to me, right? So the vet said, oh, you just dress him.
Dress him.
That's when I started laughing. I was like, who dressed a dog?
I make fun of those
Little
dogs
did
too.
you know.
Right?
I make fun of those people too.
Yeah, I was like, who dressed dogs, right? And I was just like, oh, okay.
Now it's a thing.
Yeah, so I went to the pet store, Petco at that time, and all those sweaters and T-shirts that they have, it was just hideous design.
Okay.
Me with a creative design background who wants to be a fashion designer. Look at all this collection. It's the ugliest thing. And I was like, yeah, look at this little guy. I was like, I cannot make you. You're so cute. I can make you look ugly, right? And so I went to Target, went into the toddler sections, and pick up like those Marvel comic T-shirts one.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, and I brought it to my mom. I say, because my mom's a seamstress and she's a pattern maker. And I was like, Mom, here's a chance. Can you transform this toddler T-shirts to a dog shirt for him? And then my mom was like, yeah, because she knew that he needs it, right?
Yeah.
So she cut it all out and everything, sewed it up, and it fits him like a glove. So perfect. Take him to work, and here he little guy just walking around with a Marvel comic T-shirt on his back, and then that's when like a few agents and people who was on the lot like spotted him and say, hey, such and such is gonna be at the studio with her dog. Can you make some shirt for her dog? And I was like, yeah, no problem. So I create all this stuff and everything, pass out to a few of them, never seen them, never seen the celebrities, never seen their dog, let alone, I didn't even know if those shit really did went to them, right? And I was just, all I did was making it. But then more people start asking for it. And so that's when I started to realize, like, okay, so Mom and Dad say not to be a fashion designer, but they didn't say fashion design for dog.
Little loophole.
Yes, exactly. So that's how I jumped right into the pet industry. That's my first bite into the pet industry. First bite as an entrepreneur, first bite into like designing products and everything. And then it wasn't until my first event called the Silver Spoon Baby Puppy, something like that. And we'd have like some celebrity shows up and everything. And those celebrity shows up with their dog wearing my original T-shirts.
Dang.
Who were
Yeah.
these celebrities? Was it Paris Hilton? Was it Paris Hilton?
She was. I didn't see her, but she was actually one of the clients.
okay.
That has it. Kelly Hu.
Okay.
Who's Kelly Who?
Kelly Who, she was an X-Men.
Those are the most beautiful, like Asian.
Oh, which?
I'll put a picture right here.
I know, right?
Oh man, I'm not.
Pop up the
I'm not
picture.
educated.
Pop up that
I think
picture.
Who did she play?
Charlie's met her.
Who did she play in the X-Men?
Did you watch? What's that one with the temple with
Temple of
The
Doom?
Rock? The Rock was in it.
His very first movie, Scorpion King?
Yes, and she was the villain in there.
Oh, I need to watch that. I remember that movie.
Yeah, she's the villain. She's hot.
She's still hot.
Yeah, she is.
How did I
still hot.
forget this? How did I forget this beautiful
Anyways,
person?
Yeah, and her. So there's quite a bit. There's a lot of them, and the TV show Lost was very popular back then, and so
okay.
a couple of them popped up with their dog, and yeah, that's when I was like, oh, so they did receive these. But by that time, I already started that company. It called Pooch Tea.
Did you go up to her and be like, hey, yo, I created this one. This is me.
I did. Because
What did she say?
They were like, oh my God, we're trying to figure out who it was, and like all this stuff. And because inside was like a different label than my company label kind of thing. And so, and I was like, yeah, that's me. And we have the whole spread of all the other collections. And they were just like, oh my God, we love it. So we ended up dressing up her dog. And so we did a few more events, and they showed up again, a few more. And so we just became like click instantly. So that was fun. Just have so many photos of all that back then. past experience. And
This is
everything.
before cell phones.
This is before Instagram or social media or anything. This is like when you had to print it out, you had the physical paper like in your hand.
This gotta be like mid 2000s, I'm assuming.
2000.
2005, 2004.
Yeah, 2004. Yeah, that went on from 2004 to 2004, 5, 6, 2008.
Yeah.
8 was when the recession hit.
Yeah, it was.
And
on
they're
the
actually- Tell me about that.
That was a rough
Tell me about
how did
time.
that hurt you?
Oh my God, that almost destroyed me. Like we were in 2004. We were like the first of the niche of creating one of the hippest dog T-shirts on the market, where we were like famous on Melrose and we were famous in Beverly Hills. Like we were like in all the biggest posh, like high-end boutique stores and everything.
Yeah.
We were selling T-shirt that was like little this big and everything, retail for $30. Right, and we almost like sold out, and so it was insane. But once 2008 hit, a lot of the retail stores in the U.S. closed because of that, you know. And it's one of the things. And so we start thinking that we have markets in the Europe and then also in Japan and Canada to continue, but it wasn't enough for me to like see the opportunity anymore, because at the same time we were making all the stuff here in the US. And so now when we created that trend, a lot of people start to realize like, wow, they really love dressing dogs in clothes and everything. And so then that's when the China market opens up, and then the whole manufacturing with China. So they pretty much, when they come in, I was like, why pay $30 for this t-shirt made in USA when you can pay $10 or $5? And that pretty much like crushed me too. And so, but it was a hard learn. Like I say, it was a big struggle. And then that's when I realized that I need to learn about overseas manufacturing.
Have you been keeping up with local news? I mean,
International
news lately?
news?
International news
Ooh.
lately?
I'm sure you see it in your billing.
Oh
already.
my God, yes, scary, so scary with the whole tariff increase, and I got hit hard, not like just a few weeks ago.
Because it's not based on ship date; it's based on arrival date. So it could be like set in sales months before,
Yep.
and then it would arrive like a tariff.
Yep,
already affected.
and that's what happened, and that's why we were like always on the phone with our brokers and our port and everything, just like, where's the container, where's the container, where's the container? And then two of my container, which is 100% of it in both of the container, were pretty much fall under the 25% tariff increase.
So what is a tariff? Is it just like a tax?
Yeah,
On stuff that
it's-
comes from a
it's-
different country?
Strictly right now is coming from China.
Okay.
Yeah, strictly. It's all China products. So yeah, it's pretty much going to be hitting on every single product across the board.
So from like, so not as an inventor's perspective, more on like an entrepreneur business like side of things. I know some people, they're choosing to, you know, forward that price increase to like the price of the product to the consumer. In some places like Target, for example, they're like, oh, we're not going to raise our prices. We're going to eat the cost. But as like an entrepreneur or startup, like how do you struggle with that and maintain that while still like trying to be affordable? Or
Yeah, so I have this conversation with my team recently about that, because we do have a variety of products in our companies. Some of them has been existing for like over 2 years, 3 years. Some of them exist for more than like 5 years already. And then there's products that are completely brand new. The challenge is that the products that's been in the market in, you know, buyers' hands consistently, we pretty much can't raise those prices, because a lot of the buyer just rejects it right away, because they themselves can't raise it up to their consumers either. And so we tend to try to negotiate and to find a fair ground for both of us, where we would take an X percent of loss and they willing to take X percent of loss and everything. The new product, thank goodness, is that because it's new, you pretty much
Renegotiate.
there's really no negotiation at all, because it's brand new products. It wasn't even on the market yet, and so we pretty much like take all the cost of everything, including the tariff, not just only like the 25 or the 10, but also additional 5 that he just add on top of it. Right? I don't know, you guys heard about that one too. And
I'm learning a lot right now.
Yeah. So kind of give you an idea, it's like 25% is kind of effective on more like a common product, like everything's like steels or paper and cardboard. So those are like heavy uses and most and heaviest materials shipping into the U.S. And so, and they know that, those are taxing can be easy, taxing very easily, and there's nothing we can do about it, right? And then everything else is 10% across the board. And so it's not just on the pet industry, but just everything from like children, clothes, whatever it is that coming from China is 10%. And then recently he's going to add an additional 5 on top of that. So it's like 25 now become 30, 15 now become 10 become 15.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, we pretty much cry, we pretty much cry. But the good thing is that the consumer's aware of it.
Yeah.
So they know that what they're purchasing right now is not what they're going to be paying. They would not be paying the same price later on, and so they know that. And so hopefully, the living expense is going to be a little bit more, but hopefully their salary will increase to
The appropriate.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
I think all this will affect inflation.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
costs a lot. I don't know how to balance all this together.
Definitely. I think like right now is I mean, honestly, like we should be doing this from the beginning already. It's just monitoring our expense very closely, because this is the type of things that we there was talking about for many years. We just didn't know when it's going to happen. So people who were like aware of it many years ago, they were like, all right, we're not going to have Starbucks every single day, because we need to like save for XYZ kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel bad for jumping around, but like, let's say I have an idea. What's the literal next step? Like, I know you talk about like going to China. Like, who is China, and where do you find a company in China?
Right.
And is there someone that translate for you, and like you? Or how do you know which website to go to submit a design?
Right.
Oh,
No. That's actually a really good question, because a lot of people came and asked me that question. So first and foremost, it's like they'll ask me, it's like, I have an idea. It's never been done before. I'm the first one to do it, and I'm going to put a patent on it. And this would be me. I don't know if you're going to, this is like probably all audio and everything, but I would pull out my phones, and then as they're telling me about this idea, I was like, I don't know if I should tell you, you should sign an NDA. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And then as they're telling me like, whatever it is, and I just start Googling it up and everything. I start like clicking through, and I'll go through like the USPTO, like, the whole patent trademark thing.
What's a USPTO?
It's a public domain, or it's
Oh,
public
you can
information.
Google like see what's out there
Yeah,
already.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was patent, or
Okay.
in pending patent and everything. And just like type it all in and everything, and then I'll turn over. You mean this? And they were like, no, how is that possible? My own patent lawyers like did the search and everything. They said there was nothing done. They can do. I was like, they just want your money. That's what it is. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so first thing and foremost is like a simple steps. You have an idea. So there's 2 ways you can go. You can execute it yourself, or you find somebody to help you execute it, right? So my strategy for you is like, here, always best is do it yourself first. It's always the cheapest way.
See how far you can get first.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So first thing you do do research. If you want to be original, you want to make sure you have no competitions out there. But don't freak out that you did spot somebody have the same idea as you. Don't freak out. Of anything, take that as an excitement, because it's telling you that what you're thinking is that person thinking already, thought of it, and or executing, and it's now like, we thought the same thing, and that person already start launching it, meaning that you be able to gather that person's data. If that thing really works or not, and what you do on your end is like make it better. That's the fun part.
Is there people out there just buying up patents but not really creating any products?
Yeah, totally.
So
Yeah.
they just like, oh, I want to create a car that can fly, but like I'll patent that so someone creates it in the future.
Yep.
They have to make it different or better.
Like Thomas Edison have like thousands and
Exactly.
thousands of patents.
Really?
And a lot of them are not his. It's
For-
like his team.
for like a light bulb or something
Thousands
else?
of them.
Other
Like
items?
electrifying cars. Like,
Oh, okay.
So, but again, not everything is patent.
Yeah.
Not everything is patentable. That's another thing too. That's a whole another
different topic. Okay.
conversation for it.
Save for next time, part 2.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to learn about patent, we'll have that conversation next time. Yeah, so you want to do your research, you want to see your competitors, and then you want to see your market, meaning like making sure there's a need for this
Product
stuff.
market fit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so step number 2 is if it's a service, then you pretty much go out there and just advertise yourself and see how you can service the communities or your client stuff. If it's a physical product, then best bet is that you need to create a prototype on that. Now, if you can mold it yourself as a sculptor yourself, or glue or hot glue, whatever it is you can do yourself, do it. It's the cheapest way possible, right? What's so great about today's technology versus like 10 years ago when I did also, the whole CAD 3D thing did not exist, right? And so what I would do is like, here I mold this cup, and then I need to bring this really ugly mold of a shape of a cup that I just handmade myself, bring it over to whatever country, like China's, India's, wherever country you want to make your stuff out of from, and you give it to them. And it's like, hopefully they be able to shape it better and create like a molded cast for you, right?
Did you bring your stuff to China and just Google a bunch of companies, or did you just like, try to find factories, or how do you do that?
No, so one of the great thing is, so one of the good examples, one of this pet toy that I designed is the Weeble Wobble Doyen cat. Weeble Wobble treat dispensers.
There'll be a photo
Okay.
review. I shot the video for that.
Oh, she did an interactive video for that too. So what I did is, like, I have an idea, and this is when I came to AfterGen and decided to partner up with them to make this thing possible. And so I already crafted a mold shape of it, and then I brought it to a 3D printing companies. And
this was mid 2000 something, right?
No, this is about 2 years ago.
Oh,
this
2 years
is about
ago.
2 years ago, yeah. And what's great about is that today 3D printing and 3D CAD design and everything is very affordable.
Yep.
The first time when they launched it off was really expensive, but now it's very affordable. And
You
so,
can even do like metals now and like other
Right.
materials, not just plastic. Which is
yeah,
really nice.
which is, like I said, like today, if you have an idea, it's like everything is possible and affordable now. It's amazing, right? So I brought it over to the 3D printing companies, had them, I need this shape that I just craftily molded into like a 3D CAD designs for it. So I could just email it,
Oh, you got to keep the digital soft file, whatever.
right? So I can just email it. So, but before I email it to anybody, that file, I need to find a reliable factory, manufacturers, right? And so you need to search into like who's your factories that you want to work with. For me at that time, I knew like this design, I can't give it to a pet toy manufacturers to create this product for me because they have such a detailed components and it requires 2 or 3 different type of materials that goes into it that I can't just give to a pet toys company. I have to give to a specialty toys, which is kind of like that does kids toys, right? Or a collectible, vinyl toy companies that is more like for us because they specialize with different type of materials, mix it and combine to one. So that took me about 2 years of research.
So
and
why not pet toy company? Because I figured that they would use all the materials that's good for pets, right?
yes and no. Pet toy companies, they don't do combinations. They don't take separate materials
they only
and
do
put
one
it together.
material.
Yeah, a lot of times it's all like stuffed animals.
It's full.
Or
Or even like a rubber toy and
toys.
everything. It's just
All rubber.
one
One piece of
injection
rubber.
molding. So they don't understand the concept of different layers of it. This toy has 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe 5. 1, 2.
Is it more like a material, like a manufacturing thing, or is it more of like,
Assembling.
oh, so it's not like a
assembly.
ethical to an animal, like it's not poisonous to them or something?
No. It's an assembling process, which is very crucial. And again, you don't give it, you don't give an idea that have nothing to do with a factory.
Oh,
right?
okay,
And so
okay.
you want to make sure you give your product to a factory that is familiar with this type of assembling.
Because then
And so,
like the product will be faster, done much more quickly, and then it'll also like look more like better
right. It minimizes your,
risk.
Yeah.
in a sense.
How'd you find that factory? Like just Google?
you can Google Alibaba
Oh.
is a really great place.
Is that a company? Like I heard.
It's a website.
It's like a website. It's like a Amazon, but for like
China,
lots of
right?
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can submit your stuff into there? Like is there like a
No.
different?
No, you definitely don't
I
want to
don't know.
submit
I
anything.
don't
I
know.
like how it's
You
funny
don't
how I
wanna
feel like I
submit
know what I'm saying,
anything,
but
no.
like I've only sort of helped.
No.
I'm just asking questions a normal person would ask.
Right.
I hope a normal person would ask.
No, what you want to do is like you want to go to Alibaba, you want to research, you type in product that you feel like is similar to yours, type it up, and then that manufacturer will appear onto your page and it will list out all the product that they're made.
Yeah.
And you look through their collection if there's any similarity to what you want to do because your idea, even though it's your own design, iconic, everything, but those are the materials and that's how the paint sculptures and everything you want. That's how it's so simple. It's like, this is my design, but I like how you did to that toy. Do the same thing for mine.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to do. So, but the thing again, you don't release your product right away because you don't know if this company is a trustworthy factories over in China. So like I say, it took me about 2 years for me to like research a different variety of factories, and then having them send me over a sample of their products itself for me to investigate and determine if this is a quality that I want. And then after that, I visit the factory.
Oh, so everything's done email first, then visit after. Okay.
And so I would bring my physical product with me. I would go there and take a look and do a walk through the factories. And if always go with your gut instinct. If your gut says no, you just like end the conversation and you're out.
Yeah, because
right?
they're a business partner at the end of the day, and you want to build a relationship with them.
Right. Yeah, but you know, traveling so far from the U.S. to China is a very long trip, and so you make sure you plan out like several factories to visit, not just one. Okay, so that's really important, and also give you an opportunity. It's like, hey, you're not the only factory I'm talking to. I'm talking to 7 more, so give me a price, a quote that I feel comfortable and qualities I feel confident that I will use you versus the other 3 that I'm going to meet too. So you want to negotiate all that during your visit, and then after that, once you find somebody you like, it's when you present your product after they sign your NDA.
Okay.
So you want to make sure like this product that you're going to present to them is never going to duplicate for any other reason and stuff like that. And so that's really important to make sure they signed a NDA with you on set. And then pretty much right after that, it's just cross fingers and pray every day that no big mistake happens.
And then that the shipping container arrives at the
Exactly.
appropriate time.
Exactly. That's pretty much it.
It's like what these things right here.
Oh,
What are these?
It's the latest product.
so
A blush lips. Is it blush lips?
it
Yeah.
is. It's called Blush Lips. So again, if this is, you probably can't see it because this is audio, but if you can, this is what it looks like. And this is a lip exfoliating brush to help remove the dry, chapped skins on your lips. And really fun thing is like this thing is, there's really no proper tools to help remove dead skin off your lips except your fingers or a toothbrush or a spoolie, which is, again, that's a no-no to all that. And so my sister and I, we came up with a proper tool to help exfoliate your lips.
So like your lips is burning from being chapped, and then you peel another layer off of that.
No, it's not burning, first
Oh,
of all.
I don't-
So
educate me.
if your lips is burning, you definitely need to seek help for that. Okay, so
Stop kissing people.
exactly, yeah, definitely see a doctor. No, it's just regular dry lips that I would say a lot of people experience, especially during the winter
Yep.
when the air is really dry and everything. And it's so funny. It's like ever since I started this industry, going into this industry, I never pictured myself going to the beauty industry. I launched this thing off last year.
Okay.
Yeah. And ever since I started this, the first thing I talk to people is just to look at their lips. I can't even like avoid that anymore. Like,
Eyes are up here.
yeah, I can't even avoid. I'm just like looking at people's lips. And then when people ask me like, oh, so what do you do? Or what is this? And I explained to them, I was like, well, you're looking at my lips right now, aren't you? And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't help it.
True.
We're gonna buy
Market
those.
research.
We're gonna buy those things. Is it blushlips.com?
Blushlips.com or on
Okay.
Amazon.
Good.
It's available on Amazon.
Okay.
Or,
And soon,
yeah, and also available on HSN. So
which I just got some on
HSN?
HSN. Home
HSN.
shopping.
Oh, HSN. Okay.
Yes.
I just bought some. They'll be coming in 5 to 7 days.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Well, you're buying that from
Yeah.
Amazon?
No, for HSN. I gotta
Oh,
support.
you're buying it from HSN?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't
So-
you buy it straight from here?
I gotta support my girl.
Oh,
Write
like
a
just give it a
review.
straight cash.
No, I gotta write a review.
Oh, yeah, you got the positive reviews, yeah.
Leave some feedback.
She's supporting. Supporting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full-
So
full
it's
price, I
it's
like it.
been it's been 1 year already, and talk about like come up with an idea that you want to see if it even exists in the market at that time, right? So this is a great example. A year ago, my sister came to me and she wants to start a company with me. And I love the idea. I love the idea of like, because I always wanted to do something with the family and stuff. And we were just like brainstorming like different ideas and everything. And I was guilty exfoliating my lips with a toothbrush at that time. And then that's when I was like, wait a minute. So I start Googling up exfoliating lip brush, or tool for your lips. Nothing shows up. Nothing. And I was like, why? So I told him, my sister's like, I think we may have something here. But let me just do a little bit more research. Because like I said, again, I'm just very very
thorough.
Making
Yes.
sure.
Thorough.
And so we continue and research again for like the next 3 months, and still nothing shows up on Google's or any type of search engine. And so, and my colleague, he's an Amazon expert and really good at e-commerce and everything. And I told him, I was like, hey, can you type these keywords into Amazon and tell me how many people search for that a day? And then he's like, what are you doing? What are you looking? And I was like, don't worry about it. Just type in these words, exfoliating lip brush. And he's like, he types this into his Amazon just to do a comparison and everything. And he turned to me, he's like, what are you working on?
No.
And I was
NDA,
like,
keep your mouth shut.
exactly, right? And I was like, so what do you show? And he said, right now it shows like about 10,000 people are looking for this product. And I was just like, that's all I need to know.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, and I was very blessed because like the company that makes my pet toys, it's specialized with silicone materials and plastic and everything. And so I turned to them and said like, hey, can you help me make and develop this product? And they did. And right now, today, if you Google exfoliating lip brush, my product will appear. And
Number one
in every single search engine.
This looks really professional.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like someone made in a backyard garage.
I know. No, not at all.
Well printed,
Not at all.
not a sticker.
Not at all, yeah. So it's ranked number one, Amazon's choice for pretty much still ranked as Amazon's choice 1 year later. So,
You're starting to get like competitors now, right?
yes.
Isn't that flattering?
Yes. Oh my God. Okay. First of all, don't freak out if somebody start knocking off your idea. Do not freak out. A lot of people does, right? So take it as a compliment, okay? And one other takeaway from this whole thing is like when you develop your products, the key thing is that build your brand. That's your strength. That's the strongest thing you can do for your product is build your brand, okay? And so you can design whatever you want to design, but if your brand does not carry the weight of your product, then it's pretty much a flop.
Yeah.
And so, and what I mean by like build your brand, build your follower for them to trust your brand. And so that way, if there are a competitor that shows up, God, ladies, how many, or men, how many Spanx is out there, right?
Oh.
You don't even know what Spanx is.
I know of it. I don't know it. I know of it.
Yeah, but you know the original Spanx creators. And like I say, now there's thousands of different variations of Spanx out there, but you know who is the original creators of that. And of course, as a lawyer and you trust it, you go to the original creator.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with this product. Any product is it's like there's going to be a competitor. Take it as a compliment, And
You try to stop them? Like, hey, you making the same stuff I'm making.
No. There's honestly, like I said again, you take it with stride. You look at this, because they're making that same product as yours, is telling you that those people look in their product, they were also going to look at your products. And you just had to let them decide. Do you want to go with the authentic, or you want to go with a knockoff imitation? Yeah, exactly. And people will going to experience it. They're going to see the result right away. And I've seen people like who came back and purchased my product and left a comments and saying like, oh my God, I just came with your brand because I ordered something that's similar to yours and it was hideous, because they don't have like a proper care for it.
Yeah.
For me, it's like quality control is so important. Every single brush that was shipped out, I look at it with my own eyes. I inspect it myself. And so I know that when you receive it, it's a high quality product. I don't allow any type of like, little nicks, little bumps, anything that's not supposed to be imperfections does not come by my hand. So, yeah. So that's what's really important about that. But yeah.
Dude, I learned a lot. It's funny because like I helped you film some products, so it's really cool to hear this whole story in one sit down. But I wanted to know like what's next. You've done so much already.
So much. There's quite a bit. Like as a creator, you don't sleep, and you guys know this because you guys, even though it's content that you guys create and everything, you guys don't sleep either because your brain is always like tweaking and everything. And same thing goes with me. It's like I don't sleep, but the great thing is like A friend of mine asked me this question this morning. She asked me this question this morning, and she asked me, I was like, that she has her own company that she operates and everything, and she's stressing out on all her stuff that she's doing. But she turned to me and was like, how do you run not just one, but like pretty much about 3 companies, right? So I have like, I have After Gym with Straplettos. I have After Gym with Doyen World for the pet. The Straplettos for the women's fashion design stuff. I have Blush Lifts with my sisters and everything. And then she said, like, and on top of it, you handle all like the marketing, the PRs, the social medias, all the creative contents and everything. And on top of that, you travel to China to handle all the manufacturing. And you travel to all the trade show to, not just for one company, but for like all 3 companies.
And still have a social life.
But still have a social life. Exactly. Yeah, but still have a social life. And she asked me, I was like, how do you do it? You know, and you don't, at the same time, you don't look stressed at all, right? And I told her, it's like, it's because I don't see this as a job.
Oh, okay.
You know, I love what I do, you know, and it's not about like, I love the industry, like the beauty industries or the pet industry or anything. I love them all equally. But what I love the most is like creating something that came from an idea in my head and it's landing to my hand and then sharing it with the world and get their reaction. Like I get excited from that. And because of that, I don't feel like a job. And number 2 is so important. It's like you figure out what is important on your daily routine. You figure out what is important and you make sure that is taken care of. But first and foremost, it's like make sure you make time for your family. Make sure you have time for your friends. Make sure you have time for your loved ones and everything. You know, it's so important because those people are your number 1 supporter. You know, so don't neglect them. They're your number 1 supporter.
Paying full price on a website to support.
Yeah.
What's that? What's the biggest sacrifice? What gave? Because you said like you had a dog, but like no kids, right? Is that a sacrifice?
No, that's a choice.
Okay.
No, that was not a sacrifice. It was a choice. Like, I believe like for me is like not finding the right partner.
Okay.
Right. So going through this whole journey was no, I don't have any regrets or anything. There was one time part of me was like, I want to have a family. I want to have kids. I want to have all that stuff and everything. And then I take a look at it as like, until I have the right partner, kids would not be a part of that life yet.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so I'm still young.
You are. Hella party hard.
So there's still time. There's still time, you know. But no, like, you know, honestly, in regard to sacrifice, I would say it will be my early journey. You know.
You spend most of your 20s messing around or like pretty serious?
Yeah, very serious.
Oh, serious? So you got started early, like in your life.
Because at that time I was still looking. I was still like trying to scope out like what is it I want to do with my life. You know.
Did you figure that out in your 20s or? Like...
No, I didn't figure it out until like about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 years ago, and this is in reference to our grandparents.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think I shared that story with you about it, but really briefly, it's like my best friend, asked me the question of why.
Why what?
Why you're doing what you do today. Like, what are you hoping to accomplish coming out of it, right? And I couldn't answer that question until I started to think really, really hard. And I think that once I figured out my why was when everything makes sense. Like, everything that I move forward, it just basically makes sense. You know, and I think that's really important is just like try to figure out your why first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, why you want to go into your creative way and why do I do, and why you do what you do, you know?
And it's also okay for those things to change too. And I think
Definitely.
That's definitely changed as I've gotten older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it's healthy that you change it. Just like you said, you don't want to
do the same thing over and over.
If you're too good for it, you want something more like a challenge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything you want to plug? Like,
bring the mic closer. Why are you so far away from
Oh man, I know when my voice is booming. I know it travels because it's like it got lower wavelengths. But yeah.
Besides, so all the brands that you're managing.
Like, who do you want to shout out to?
Good props to
Oh my
your
God.
team.
So many. So many. First and foremost, guys, every single job you've gone through, thank every single one of those people. Even some of the bosses that you don't get along with, even some of your colleagues that you wish they never sat next to you, everything. But through all those journeys, because of those individuals, they're the one who brought you to where you want to accomplish today. And for me, it's like I pretty much want to thank everybody across the board. Like my family, especially, without them, like they're the one who believed most in me.
Yeah.
You know, to like really push me up and everything. But as also my team at AfterGen, number one team at AfterGen. Without them, none of this is possible too.
Pulling late night hours.
All the haters and copycats.
No, they're, you know, honestly, like everybody is great. Like it's, you know, it's one of the cycles of life that you just have to, you know, appreciate everyone that comes with you, you know, so. Even if they do you wrong, it's okay. You just thank them anyway. So. Right. But stay positive. That's key thing. Always stay positive. Always believe in yourself. And also foremost is like make sure you take care of yourself first. Put yourself first. Yes, so important.
Your social media handle?
Which one do you want to promote?
Yeah, which one?
Which one do you want to promote?
The one everyone should follow.
It will be My Blush Lips.
All right.
My M-Y Blush Lips. So
on IG or?
On IG and on Facebook.
Cool.
So check it out. Shout out to my sister.
And what's your sister's name?
Casey.
Casey?
And Fee.
And Fee.
Mm-hmm. The three sisters.
All right, cool. Thank you for being our guest tonight.
Yeah.
It's like late at night. It's 11:30 right now, y'all.
Pacific time. As opposed to all the other podcasts is always in the morning. Like 8 a.m., 9 a.m.
Yeah, we ain't like that. We got day jobs. All right, we'll end it there. Yay, thanks for coming. Thanks
And don't forget to always stay beautiful.
and stay alpha.
All right.
Wait, let's say that again. Do that one more time.
Don't forget to stay beautiful.
And stay alpha. Yay.
I love it. You guys are great.
Best interview so far.
So far. Best interview this month. This week.